Hi, welcome to Theme Park Cheat Codes, where we level up your Disney Parks knowledge. Sindbad's Storybook Voyage at Tokyo DisneySea is touted by many as the best Disney boat ride ever made. The ride opened with the park in 2001, but never found popularity as families were put off by the dark and foreboding tones. So in 2007, the ride underwent a lengthy refurbishment to make it the joyous, friendship-filled adventure we know and love today. In this video, we're going to see how they pulled that off by looking at everything great about Sindbad's Storybook Voyage. Let's start with the beautiful entrance that somehow manages to be both grand and subtle at the same time. And the sign for the ride is a sail. Cute. Not to mention, we also get to be introduced to our heroes. Establishing original characters early is very important, as we don't get to spend as much time with them in rides as we do in movies or other media. Speaking of which, we get a clearer look at our heroes the instant we enter the queue. Part of the de-frightening of Sindbad involved making the ride less surprising, so we see a ton of foreshadowing in these beautiful paintings in the queue. The queue also weaves the melodies of the iconic Alan Menken score into its background music. I love when queues offer a peek into the ride, and Sindbad has a brilliant one. But a little tip, you have to be in the left queue to get a good look at it. Now we're on the ride, and the first thing we see is this ride equivalent of an establishing shot. Is that Mount Prometheus in the opening scene? This tower is in fact a support beam, painted black at the top. Another nice peek is that Sindbad and Chandu are perfectly framed so we can see them all the way from the station. And look at that stunningly fluid motion of these incredible animatronics.
Look at Chandu's fuzzy little face!
And more foreshadowing on the map. Here we get the epic introduction to perhaps the greatest ride soundtrack of all time. Look at the sheep! Again with excellent motion and made only for this scene. Here you start to realize that all of the animatronics in this ride are going to have fluid and excellent degrees of motion. Got to love an animatronic band! It's just so nice to see a scene so populated with life and activity. It's not something we get to see very often. Look at the little monkey go! How cool is this? The kids are sitting around watching a shadow puppet show, and then slowly there's the reveal that we get to see the puppeteer operating the puppets. The cloth fire effect works great in this ride, as the simplicity really fits in with the storybook aesthetic. I love how these three are only in the ride very briefly, but they really deepen the world building of the ride. Big transition from a bustling marketplace to the vast blackness of the ocean. There's the lightest rain effect ever for a brief portion here, which really just helps to sell that weather. Another thing that sells it is the excellent use of projections with this deep and distant downpour. The lightning strikes in time with the music, our first rhythmic effect, but it won't be our last. We get to hear Sindbad's beautiful singing voice, and thus the ride is established as a musical.
Look at Chandu up there on the sail! Get down!
Love the waves effect in the background. It seems to be a rolling sculpture with some subtle projections. The next scene is established with the sun rising behind a hill and this Baddy cracking a big egg. He hits the egg in time with the music. Look at the subtle rocking of the egg as well. We now get to find out what was in the egg, these glorious birds. Sindbad placed up high to make him immediately noticeable. Can't be overstated that every animatronic in this ride has such good motion.
A point for Chandu! Go get him!
Our first big animatronic of the ride, and it's flying above us. I think this guy has some regrets. Transition from a big open scene to a small closed one. The music matches this transition by bringing us to the bridge. Your eyes are instantly drawn to the huge green giant, again with so much motion. This guy may also have some regrets.
Chandu's angry! Look at his angry little face!
The lights on the feather are a nice touch, and they also glow in time with the music. Look how big that giant is! And listen to his booming voice! Even with a scene with this amazing singular focal point, we're still treated to extra figures, giving the scene some more life. Having the giant sing the ride's infectious hook at a range that physically vibrates in your chest might be what makes this song so hard to get out of your head. We're also treated to our buddy Sindbad, singing the lead vocal over the giant and playing his oud. We can also start to see that Sindbad's boat is filling with the loot he's gathering on his voyage.
Look at Chandu's tail! Get out of there!
A nice big grand gate to enter through this time as we're welcomed to the Sultan's palace. I love these stylized fabric ears on the elephants. Gorgeous vocal harmonies with the Sultan, who's given Sindbad some instruments to ward off the monkeys. Again, we have some other figures populating the scene, the other side of the waterway.
And Chandu's playing a drum! Look how proud he is!
This guy in the back is the only static figure in the entire ride. A total change in colour now as we're surrounded by deep reds and oranges. To be honest, the monkey scene is my least favourite. It seems like they did the least to make it unscary here. Still, we're introduced to the scene with a single figure before showing us the monkey band. Sindbad's hand drumming has some surprisingly nuanced movement. I do like that the scene has levels, and the bananas on the pulley is unique.
Chandu loves the bananas so much he's so happy!
Another point for banana smellitzers. Also notice that alongside the frankly ludicrous amount of bananas, the feathers and treasure chests from earlier in the ride are still in Sindbad's boat. Just a beautifully subtle transition. I love how simplistic it is while setting up exactly what's happening, establishing a new colour palette, and giving us something small and simple to contrast with what we're about to see. This is our final big animatronic of the ride, and this thing is just huge.
Look at Chandu spinning around in his little basket!
The little bits of turf on the whale suggesting that Sindbad was standing on solid ground and the whale burst through it. And his tail also moves. More of the neat wave effect that we saw earlier. Another single figure used to establish the scene before opening it up. How perfect that we're greeted back home by a lighthouse. And there's something hypnotic about the fire effect with UV lights on it. Finally, Sindbad is home, and we see his boat full of all the treasures he's found along the way. Very well executed trick here to have Sindbad lifting everything. Chandu rightfully crowned king, presumably rendering him the highest power in the land, and rightly so. This guy tallying all of Sindbad's spoils, for the camels to then transport it with this simple effect of them endlessly crossing the bridge. And for our finale, a densely populated scene full of villagers enjoying Sindbad's goods. A wonderful touch to not only have the scene light up the colour of the fireworks, but for it even to be lit from the direction of the firework too. Look at this good little pup wagging their tail. These handsome horses that are used only in this scene. And for our final farewell, Sindbad wishes us off whilst Chandu takes a well-deserved nap. I love how Chandu wakes up whenever Sindbad raises his voice a little bit. And they now have a new map, which hides some special secrets I talked about in another video. Finally, this mural of all the friends we've made along the way. And the best thing about finishing a ride at DisneySea is that afterwards, you get to go to DisneySea. It's as if Sindbad offers you some time to rest your feet and the inspiration to continue to explore this one-of-a-kind park. If you'd like to learn more about some of the subtleties of DisneySea, check out this video. Please remember to subscribe and hit the bell if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to our patrons B and the Sabaran family for being so wonderfully supportive. If you want to support the channel and get special perks, please check out the Patreon below. We also have the 8-Bit Theme Park gift shop where you can pick up pixel art, theme park hats, t-shirts, and other accessories. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to always keep an eye out for hidden details, whether you're on one of the best dark rides in the world, or you're just walking to the shop.